You too. What it do? It's your boy Benji, and we back on TV. We love all things entertainment this way, and we back in between the ropes at that. It's wrestling, baby. WWE. Hey, look, this video I think came at a perfect time. But at the end of the day, if you're new, please don't forget to subscribe, slap a thumbs up, comment down below where you're watching from, who you with, and what's your favorite wrestler. Or just one of those answers. You can try that. Let's get it, man. This video says WWE has failed miserably with John Cena's heel turn. I agree.
At one point in time, the idea of a John Cena heel turn was an unfathomable concept. John Cena was a face of WWE for the best part of 20 years, and WWE was seemingly insistent, particularly during the PG era, of keeping Cena's child-friendly image intact. Even when Cena's character went to the dark and serious place, the comedy segments quickly followed to lighten the mood. The only time during Cena's babyface run where a heel turn looked like a distinct possibility was in 2012 or 2013. This was during Cena's feud with The Rock, and there were in fact plans on the table for Cena to commit to a heel turn. According to John Cena, his heel turn was going to change everything. Cena would have a new attire and a new theme song. Ultimately, these plans were scrapped, but this could have been tremendous, and Cena's motivation for turning against the audience would have made a lot of sense. This was a point in time in which Cena was being heckled by the audience, and there was a certain demographic who
We hate Cena. It's so crazy.
Didn't believe that Cena deserved to be in the spot he was placed in. Whilst this could have been one of the best heel turns in recent memory, it's failed in almost every aspect. The turn. At the start of 2025, The Rock pitched the
Oh my gosh. This is about to be so nasty.
idea of turning Cody Rhodes heel. This was a bizarre pitch, as Rhodes was a face of WWE, and it would have made a lack of sense for Rhodes to turn heel, as he had zero motivation to turn against the audience. When this revelation was shared online, fans were quick to call out The Rock for having flashy ideas, but having no idea how to execute them. What would be the point of this turn? WWE was thriving as a business, and this was particularly down to them deciding to cement the then WWE champion as the face of the entire brand. The heel turn.
I will say, I was absolutely one of the people that said, Rock, what the heck are you talking about? I'm befuddled, baffled, and confused. Why are you asking Cody Rhodes to turn? What would benefit Cody Rhodes?
Turn could have had damaging effects to the company's bottom line, and fans compared the pitch to turning Stone Cold Steve Austin heel back in 2001. It was Triple H who eventually decided to go with John Cena in the role of a heel. This was bold yet an inspired choice. Cena spending his final years an active wrestler in the role fans never thought they would see was risky, yet Cena was fully on board. And it was said that Triple H and Cena had a ton of ideas when it came to how to execute the turn and how to make it worthwhile. The heel turn itself will go down at the 2025 Elimination Chamber event. WWE presented an angle which saw The Rock try to get Rhodes to sell his soul. This basically meant turning heel, but when Rhodes rejected, Cena embraced The Rock's offer and turned on Rhodes.
Now, this is where everything went awry. And I'm going to be honest with you. Netflix on Raw is where we began to see the fallout of WWE. That's what we should have known, that things was only going to go downhill. Because that's absolutely where everything started to make absolutely zero sense. Now, we can make an argument and we can have a discussion that after SummerSlam, peak WWE just spiraled downward. But I think we at least had a couple solid builds and a couple solid matches following. If you want to talk about Crown Jewel, if you want to talk about Clash of Champions, maybe. You know what I mean? We could have a couple discussions here and there. Even Bash at Berlin. But I believe it was absolutely, undeniably, at Netflix, Raw on Netflix, where everything just completely fell apart. Because we saw what we believed to be the end of a couple stories like Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. We thought we were going to get the end of Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. We thought we were going to get a lot of these things, which in some sense we did. We did get the end of Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, but it was kind of underwhelming in some sense because Rhea Ripley's character kind of had no purpose afterward. Solo Sikoa had no purpose afterward. He promised us all that he was going to acknowledge Roman Reigns. Y'all, it is not, but it was May. He has not acknowledged Roman Reigns yet. He's still trying to grab the reins and tell Jacob and the rest of these boys what to do. You don't have the Ulufala no more. You was nobody's bloodline. You were nobody's tribal chief. Paul Heyman bounced. Why is there no more beef between Roman and the bloodline? What happened? Why was The Rock spending the majority of the episode glazing Cody Rhodes? After you guys had serious beef just a few months prior. You showed up at Bad Blood with the, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bruh. So everything fell apart. And so then, shortly afterward, we saw Rock present Cody Rhodes with an opportunity for his soul. Again, nobody knew what he was talking about because, brother, we was all sitting there like, what are you talking about? This is awkward, super strange delivery. Nobody knew what he was referring to. And so it finally made a little bit of sense that he was willing to offer Cody Rhodes the world in order to, I don't know, do what? I don't know what that meant. He was already the champion. He already closed the book. He already completed the chapter. Cody Rhodes' story was done. He did what any other Rhodes could not do. Why would he need to sell his soul? So then we got Cena, who failed at the Royal Rumble and just said, you know what, even though I didn't do anything in order to qualify myself into the Royal Rumble, I'm just going to show up and I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble. I'm not going to qualify myself to get into the Elimination Chamber. I'm just going to show up and get an Elimination Chamber. He then wins the Elimination Chamber after, again, not doing anything prerequisite in order to qualify for the Chamber. Just shows up and wins. Cool. And then he rightfully is awarded an opportunity to fight against Cody Rhodes. And then supposedly he sells his soul, which didn't really yield him any benefit because he was already going to fight against Cody Rhodes. All he had to do was just win. And, I mean, I guess he got an alley-oop from Travis Scott. But again, I mean, they had to sell his soul to do that? Was it just supposed to be a cheap shot? I mean, obviously the command was uttered by The Rock. It was put out in the air. Hey, I got a mission. Here's what you're going to do. Get rid of this dude. And John Cena completed the task. That should have at least let everyone know that he's aligning with The Rock. The three of them all walked out together and aura farmed on the way out. What happened to that? Nobody knows.
Shocking the world in the process. But this is where the problems began. It made a lack of sense for Cena to side with The Rock.
No.
What was the relationship between the two men? The last time they shared the screen together, Cena received a rock bottom at WrestleMania.
Very true.
And now the final boss had chosen Cena as his corporate guy. And Cena was just fully...
And none of it made sense. These dudes beefed a decade prior. Cena beefed with The Rock's cousin just a couple years ago. He beefed with The Rock's other cousin, Solo, just a couple years ago. And then when The Rock and Cody Rhodes are at odds, John Cena shows up in order to assist Cody Rhodes and then gets planted to the mat because The Rock is ensuring that you're not going to help Cody Rhodes complete his story. And then you guys are now an alliance with one another. And it made even less sense that The Rock was willing to align himself with Cody Rhodes after he slapped the dude multiple times. Alright.
on board. Little to no context was ever offered when it came to this relationship, and the entire thing has practically been retconned. The Rock's involvement has barely been mentioned, and when The Rock failed to show up at WrestleMania 41, a lot of the fans saw the heel turn as a complete failure. The Rock was the key.
I get it. People was making the argument The Rock was lazy and should have showed up. Again, I think it could have easily been explained by the 1 quadrillion times that John Cena has been out there dropping a promo as to why he did what he did. He could have easily just alluded to The Rock's involvement and why The Rock's involvement made any sense. He was out there talking for 10 minutes multiple times and never mentioned The Rock. It was obvious that The Rock's involvement was no longer supposed to be in the joint. The Rock didn't have to wrestle, he didn't have to do nothing. He didn't have to show back up on WWE at all. Cena could have said, this has been a command uttered by the final boss. This is what I get for joining the final boss. None of that was ever alleged. Nothing was ever answered.
Key catalyst for the turn, and for that key catalyst to then disappear as if he never existed makes zero sense.
Yep.
Fans compared it to one of the members of the original NWO trio disappearing after the huge Hulk Hogan heel turn. It would have just never happened. The Rock would try to defend the booking during an out-infamous appearance on the Pat McAfee show. This was one of the worst cases of damage control ever seen, as The Rock basically explained that he didn't feel that he was needed in the angle, and he didn't believe he had to show up at WrestleMania. Fans collectively called out The Rock on this utter nonsense, and some fans theorized that The Rock distanced himself from the angle due to it not being his original pitch for the story arc. Why Cena why? Due to The Rock disappearing following the 2025 Chamber PLE, WWE were forced to improvise. They needed a way for Cena to justify the heel turn. Why now? Why was this the point in which he decided that he was going to turn on the fans and surrender all of his established morals? Cena would explain his actions and the justification for the heel turn during an intense promo on the March 17th episode of Raw. You're making this so easy for me. You see, for 25 years, I've been the victim, okay? I've been the victim of an abusive relationship.
And I could not believe that was the excuse. These people literally love you. You are the number one requested person in order to fulfill people's make-a-wish dreams. How have you been the victim of an abusive relationship?
So very classy. Thank you. Look, I'm not a babyface. I'm not a heel. I'm a human being. And each and every one of you has been awful to me. Go ahead. You've been awful. And it's been the same damn noise for 25 years. Cena's entire motivation was basically that the crowd had booed him during the height of his career, and now he was exacting revenge. Whilst this isn't the worst motivation in the world, upon further analysis, it makes zero sense. Why would Cena pick this specific moment in time to turn on the crowd? The crowd had been pro-Cena for the best part of a decade, and during some of his promos over the past few years, the WWE legend could barely talk due to how much the crowd were loving him. The motivation felt weak and improvised, and fans are still continuing to call it out. Cena would then continue by saying, "So I announced my retirement in a move that has never been done before. I'm actually walking away at the end of this year. I tried one last time to get along with you guys. I tried one last time to do something nice for you, and you ruined it. Just like you ruin everything."
These people literally wanted John Cena to just show up at Royal Rumble and win. That's it. They wanted him to show up at the Elimination Chamber and win. People were on your side. What are you talking about?
Because just like right here tonight, for 2 seconds it was great, and then it was never enough. Cena was saying here that the crowd ruined his retirement by seemingly booing him, but this never occurred. Cena wasn't remotely booed during the road to the 2025 Chamber event, so it was unclear what on earth Cena was even talking about. I am going to ruin pro wrestling. John Cena would then claim in one of his heel promos that he was going to ruin professional wrestling. Cena would claim that the fans would get nothing new out of him, and he was going to leave with the WWE title in December. This is a fun idea, however the execution has been horrendous. Cena did end up receiving new graphics, and whilst they were simplistic in nature, they were still vastly different to the colourful graphics of old. Cena still has new merchandise for every city on the retirement tour, and even wears a merchandise for each respective city. Cena's whole image and presentation should have changed following the heel turn, but outside of some minor differences, nothing has changed. Some fans theorize that WWE introduced the "I'm gonna ruin pro wrestling" element to cover for Cena's matches. Due to Cena's matches before the 2025 run being less than stellar, there could have been some concern that Cena wouldn't have been able to keep up with the younger talent, and this was a way of protecting Cena, as they could claim that Cena was wrestling like that on purpose. Some fans are still running with this theory and are using the theory to justify why Cena's WrestleMania main event versus Cody Rhodes was so disappointing. WrestleMania 41. Speaking of the WrestleMania main event, it was booked terribly. Even before Travis Scott's dire interference, Cena and Rhodes had little to no chemistry in the ring, and it didn't even feel like a big deal when Cena won number 17. Coming out of the match, a strong portion of the fans labeled the heel turn as a total flop, and a lot of fans wished that Cena won his final world title as a babyface. Coming out of the show of shows, little to no substance has been added to Cena's heel turn. His program with Randy Orton saw him get laid out every time they interacted, and it's almost as if
it's been wash and repeat and wash and repeat. Dude, we literally saw the same thing. It was, you could have seen it a mile away. I knew Cody Rhodes was going to lose that belt. And I told y'all on multiple occasions, it was so obvious because all we saw was Cody Rhodes hit this dude with a crossroads. John Cena gets laid out. And then the exact same thing happens after Randy Orton challenges him. No originality. No creativity. No explanations.
WWE had zero idea what to do with Cena as a heel, which is truly crazy to think about. Cena now looks set to feud with R-Truth heading into Saturday night's main event, and this is a match that fans certainly didn't expect out of Cena's retirement tour. Fans are hoping that Truth is able to push Cena's character work to the next level, but with only 2 SmackDown shows before the planned match, and with Cena not currently advertised for a single one, this seems unlikely at this stage. This is how it should have gone. When Hulk Hogan turned heel in WCW in the 90s, it changed everything. The whole WCW product was turned on its head, and the heel turn represented a cosmic shift within the fabric of WCW. Everyone on the card was impacted by the poster boy of a generation turning his back on fans, and everyone had a visceral reaction to the turn itself. This should have been the approach taken with Cena. Cena's heel turn should have changed everything. It should have sent shockwaves through the WWE locker room. And whilst they hinted at this earlier on, WWE quickly dropped this idea. The only names that are somewhat impacted by the heel turn are R-Truth and Michael Cole. Nobody else on the roster is even bothered. Not even the respective general managers for Raw and SmackDown are present.
These dudes literally don't even care. That's a great point. The general managers don't care. They have zero control of their shows. And these dudes that you would think are running around with zero control of the shows would at least say something about, oh my God, John Cena's heel. He's gonna take the belt. He's gonna ruin wrestling. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Nope. Never saw that.
And to give a damn that the former face of the company is now an evil mastermind. A lot of fans have speculated that due to Cena not working,
like we could have at least had an element in which these guys are trying to tell, hey, look, Cena's supposed to be out here tonight. Where's he at? Da, 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 da. Cena's got a match tonight. The Rock shows up. Cena's not fighting. John Cena shows up. No, I'm not fighting. The only thing that we got to see from John Cena is him avoid questions after the PLE, and then he told the ring announcer to address him a certain way as the GOAT.
Every single show, WWE have been limited on what they can do. Whilst this is highly likely, they could still book the show in such a way where Cena's actions are having wider consequences for wrestlers up and down the card. How do wrestlers respond to this? It could have made for such dramatic yet compelling television. So did WWE regret the call? Following a successful WWE title defense,
the only person that spoke about this joint was CM Punk. And then we had Randy Orton, right before their matchup, talk about how this was a completely different version of Cena. And this is not what the people came to love. The same thing that Cody Rhodes said.
Versus Randy Orton at Backlash, Cena could be shedding a tear before heading to the back. Is this the first sign that Cena is turning back to being a babyface? It's inevitable that Cena reverts to being a babyface before his retirement, but nobody could have expected the teasers to start this soon. Are WWE regretting the executive decision to turn Cena heel? It's very possible. If Cody Rhodes was always going to take a leave of absence following WrestleMania 41, then surely WWE would have had Cena win as a babyface. WWE is without a doubt that ultra top full-time babyface right now, and Rhodes' aura and presence is missed, particularly on SmackDown. A lot of discourse is going to be generated at the end of 2025.
I think they did this terribly too, because if you think about it, there's not even any real baby faces. This is a similar argument that I've had the other day, that there are no real baby faces and no true heels on WWE roster. You eliminated the last couple. Roman Reigns was your last true heel, and you got rid of him. You made him some type of tweener in order to try and put Solo with some bad guy. Cool. But now you've buried Solo Sikoa, so nobody believes in him after he lost to Ulufala. And all he's been doing is spending time walking Jacob Fatu and the rest of the Tongans out to the ring. And then is eating pins. You have no true heels. Dominic Mysterio is getting cheers. The only guy that's getting boos consistently is Logan Paul. That's it. That's it. So if John Cena's already beat Cody Rhodes, where are your other baby faces for him to beat? You don't have any other true baby faces. You have a bunch of tweeners. I got a CM Punk who does whatever he wants to. It's really just up to him what he feels at the time. He's supposed to be marketed and marketed as some type of babyface, but at the end of the day, his motives are just whatever CM Punk's feeling. Drew McIntyre is supposed to be some type of heel. At the end of the day, he's not really a heel. Maybe some of his motives could be a little heelish, but at the end of the day, the dude just does what he wants to do in order to get to his goal. And the majority of the time, his reasoning is correct. Naomi's supposed to be a heel, but you can make an argument that she's justified in some sense. You don't have any true heels, and you don't have any true baby faces. So if John Cena is supposed to be this evil heel, and you're talking about the biggest heel of all times with the greatest heel turn ever, how can we respect him as a heel if you haven't done anything to build up any other faces on the card? And the one face you have left is R-Truth, and this dude is just a fool.
Whilst WWE still have 24 dates to turn the heel turn failure around, it seems unlikely that they're going to strike gold when it comes to this heel turn. They could still produce some memorable moments and some stellar matches out of the heel turn, yet it's possible that as we approach the end of the summer months, Cena begins to revert to his babyface persona. How WWE could handle Cena realizing the error of his ways is an interesting topic, as Cena as a character has a lot to answer for, and it's unfortunately a shame that based on the current discourse on social media, fans are already discussing these ideas and have stopped discussing any positives from the actual heel turn. What do you guys think? Has John Cena's heel turn been an utter failure?
Problem is, it's far too late. No one wants to boo Cena like they did in 2010. He's garnered too much respect now. I think at this point, we do need the new music, new gear, and move away from the Cena versus fans thing. Again, yes, it is unbelievable to have John Cena turn heel and be blaming the fans week in and week out? There has to be another motive. Just because a couple people booed you, 95% of the arena was always in support of everything that you did. And you had a couple trolls here and there that were booing you. The worst you got was, let's go Cena. Cena sucks. Yeah, there was maybe a couple years in which people was booing you. But again, the same argument could then be made about every other wrestler. Because everyone's had some years that the fans turned on them. Are we justifying the biggest heel turn of all time, supposedly, because a couple people booed you during a couple years? So over 20 years, because you had, let's just say you had 1 year of people just truly booing you, giving you Logan Paul heat for 1 year out of 20. That's a justifiable heel turn? 10 years later? The Rock messed it up by not showing up at the Elimination Chamber. How? Nope, don't blame The Rock for AJ's crappy booking. The Rock not showing up did not mean he had to book that crappy match. Either all in or all out. No, The Rock does not have to match up against anybody. Show up. This is what I'm pitching. And then you have John Cena, who's good enough on the mic to be able to describe why he did what he did. Face the music. Simple. If he's the final boss, join the final boss. What are you talking about? Could things have been handled better? Absolutely. If The Rock wasn't able to appear on the show, he should have at least contributed via pre-recorded segment, facts, teleprompter appearance, or even a quick FaceTime call. Guys, they didn't know what to do. But it's very clear the WWE has been actively hiring more writers to improve long-term storytelling. Triple H likely had 2 to 3 scenarios mapped out. They obviously had 0 scenarios mapped out. TKO realized ticket sales were not meeting expectations. This was when either TKO or The Rock seemingly made a hasty last-minute call for him to appear. Some of those felt it. But it is not that difficult. Promise you. I get it. A lot of people are paid big bucks. But you could have easily linked this. Very, very, very simply. Like, what? I proposed an opportunity for you. Hey, I had to do what I had to do to secure this match, to secure a win, etc., etc. I'm getting a movie role. It could have been 100 easy things you could have went. It's why he would join the final boss. But also, why are you joining the final boss? Because your final boss couldn't even help Roman. But let's argue that the final boss aura of protection was over Roman Reigns for those 2-3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Let's do Spanish champion. Okay, you want that? You want to be ensured that you will never have to lose a match? Let's get this dude a crew. Could have got Grayson Waller and Austin Theory to be behind John Cena. Could have got that, or we're just gonna keep them in catering. All these tag teams are fighting everybody, and can't none of them get, you know what I'm saying, backed by John Cena? Oh, like, okay. Or we're just going to spend time, instead of John Cena, on his way out, boosting the other wrestlers that are in the company, backing and putting over some of the other wrestlers in the company. We couldn't have had Melo and Miz behind John Cena. We couldn't have had, plenty of other wrestlers that could have been put over. Nah, we're just going to let The Rock show up and then disappear, and then now we're going to give Travis Scott more screen time than the majority of the wrestlers in the locker room. The WWE simply tried to rely on Cena's popularity without any strong storyline. That was it. They wanted this year to be carried by the premise of John Cena returning to WWE, and thought that he was so popular that people could just tune in and would just watch and enjoy and pay the prices, and that was it. They didn't bank on people actually wanting to know why. They're in the worst part than they were prior to the Bloodline story. His turn in Elimination Chamber was really good, and even had sort of a sinister subtlety But after that, they made it into a woe is me, whiny guy. Absolute garbage. Yep. Instead of making him a guy that was willing to do anything and get that championship by any means necessary and was willing to retain the championship by any means necessary, he just became, and because of the fans, because of you guys, because of this little boy in the front row. Y'all let me know what y'all think.